And to get you more on this, I'm joined by my colleague Shupendu Ghosh. Good morning, Shupendu. Now, in a much-awaited move, Zelenskyy will meet Donald Trump on Friday, and the world will be watching this. What are we expecting from this crucial visit, Shupendu?
Good morning, Deepika. Yes, a hugely anticipated visit of the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy to Washington, D.C. Now, what is in focus, again, are the rare earth minerals of rich deposits of it in Ukraine, the manner in which it can be utilized in the future. Earlier, Donald Trump had asked for the minerals as a payment for the American support to Ukraine, but now it's a different kind of an engagement. It's an economic engagement of equals, as it were. There would be a certain investment fund, sources and form, that would be created, and at the heart of it would be the mining and the sale of the rare earth minerals, and the proceeds from it, the profits from it, will be utilized significantly for the reconstruction of Ukraine. And of course, it would also provide access to America to these rare earth minerals. It is seen as an important step forward as far as the economic engagement is concerned. President Trump says that economic engagement automatically would mean that America would want to safeguard those interests. So in that sense, there is a certain security guarantee by default, but not the kind that Ukraine and the European allies have been demanding. There are no boots on the ground that have been committed. We also see there is a significant thaw in the relationship between the United States and Russia. In that sense, this meeting is seen as an important step forward to possibly end the conflict. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy also understands that perhaps these rich deposits, data shows that about 5% of the world's critical minerals are in fact located in Ukraine, also in lands which are at present occupied by Russia. So it is an important hedge for Ukraine to be able to achieve a ceasefire, a deal sort of that at least works for Ukraine in the best possible manner. It's been 3 years of exhausting conflict. Here is an opportunity to reverse those losses.
Indeed, and on the other hand, Trump has not been so sure about Ukraine's NATO membership as well. But would this in any way impact the minerals deal here, Shupendu?
That is an important observation, Deepika. Yes, Donald Trump had made it adequately clear the manner in which he looks at the Russia-Ukraine conflict. And he had, in fact, aligned with Russia in saying that Ukraine's NATO ambitions were at the heart of this conflict. If there was no NATO ambition, there wouldn't have been any conflict. So he's very sure about America, which is one of the giants of the NATO group, that Ukraine's membership is almost absolutely unlikely in the coming future. However, there is a certain ceasefire deal that America is invested in. Donald Trump does want this conflict to end so that America and he can focus on his domestic agenda. The European allies also see difficulties in now achieving what at one point in time appeared like a certain future of Ukraine's NATO membership. So in that sense, this economic deal is seen as a step forwards towards economic engagement, a possibility of reconstruction, even a default security guarantee. But NATO membership for Ukraine now appears like a distant dream.
And having said that, Russia has also shown its interest in such sort of deals. Can such moves really be a game changer when we talk about the geopolitical conditions and its solution?
Well, the developments of the past few weeks, Deepika, particularly after those dramatic resetting of ties between US and Russia, President Trump calling President Putin a few weeks ago, and then that high-profile meeting in Riyadh, and now also taking place in Turkey of the delegation level meets, we do see a certain alignment of objectives as far as US and Russia are concerned. President Putin should be pleased. The strongest of the adversary has now turned into a potential ally. Earlier, we've seen that President Trump had put the onus of the Ukraine conflict on President Zelenskyy. And yes, as you mentioned, that there are possibilities of resetting of economic ties as well. For Russia, it does appear like a win-win situation. There's a conflict in which it has been invested. The war chest has been exhausted. Now there is a possibility of that conflict coming to an end in a manner that Russia would have an upper hand in the ceasefire negotiation. And then all the debilitating sanctions that Russia has had to face from the West, particularly from the US, even those could be dialed down, given that now President Trump is talking about exploring economic opportunity and partnership with Russia. So in that sense, for President Putin and Russia, the next few weeks could in fact determine the positive manner in which this conflict seems to have turned for them.